and welcome to Men in Confidence Sharing, where we, the men of a certain age, share our thoughts, ideas, and opinions in confidence. Today, we're starting something fresh and new. But before we get into that, let's start with introductions. Today, we're joined by myself, the host, Tony. We have Sean, we have Rhino, we have Terrence. So, one by one, we're going to say hello to everyone. So, hello, Sean.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing?
And hello, Rhino.
Good morning, everyone.
Okay. And hello, Terrence.
Greetings and salutations. Your boy is back.
Yes.
This dog last week, man.
Yeah, right.
Arm, feet, and legs.
Right. Could not do Voltron.
The dinotherms are connected. Mega thrusters are go. Okay, so joking aside, we're starting a new series today. These are the 10 men commandments. 10 things that all men should have or know. 10 features that all of men should possess. And we're going to start today. Now, these are in no particular order, so there's not one that's more important than the other, and we're not counting up, but we're going to do one at a time. And today we're starting with number 10, be loving. Men should be loving. So I'm going to pose the question to the group. Why is it important that men be loving?
Well, for one thing, men are viewed by design of others trying to destroy what they view as the patriarchy as aggressive and angry and mean and just all around bad dudes. But to be an effective man, you've got to also be loving. I mean, what are we without love? You know, we need that. We need to exert that. We need to be a loving person. We need to, because when you love, and first of all, you should love yourself. But if you love yourself, you have the capacity to show love to others. It's like Jesus said, create the inside of the cup, the outside of come clean. If you have love on the inside, it will spill out to the outside. And that's about all I have to say about that at the moment.
All right, thank you, Rhino. All right, anyone else wants to go next?
I mean, I'll jump in. I think definitely it's important. And I'm sure we're going to find in this forum that we're all of one accord. Men should absolutely be loving. You've seen what being hateful can do. You don't have to go far to see what a hateful man can do. It doesn't take any effort to be a hateful man. As a matter of fact, in a way, it takes more effort to run around and be hateful all the time in all you're doing than it does to be loving. Just like you said, we have the capacity for it. We should do it. It's a natural thing to want to be loved in this world, and so to give love in return. Should not be shamed for it. Too many times I think we as men, especially we as Black men, we're made to feel like it is a weakness to be loving, to show the fact that we want to be loved, and to show our love for not only our women, our children, but also love of one another. I think if we would tighten up on our brotherhood and our brotherly love, it wouldn't be as much stuff going on, and we could unite and do what some people fear us to do, which is unify and be able to, really, really make some moves in this world. So yes, absolutely. I think that we could all brush up. We could all brush up on being loving. Like I said, I don't think in this form, you're going to find that any of us are going to turn around and say, yeah, no, be loving. Be loving for what? No, you have to. You love God, love your family, love yourself. All of that still comes from that same root thing of love. And we just got to stop ridiculing, making ourselves feel bad just because it makes us feel wrong.
So, be loving is a very broad statement, and it's obviously something that we absolutely need to have in our lives for ourselves. I mean, everyone has said so far, loving yourself, that's definitely important. I like the point made about we've seen what a non-loving person, the effects that they can have on our country without getting too far down that rabbit hole. You can see the effects of not having loving people in your life, in households and children. So we see enough of the negative or the lack of love. Being a loving person carries so much more positive energy and so much more weight that it's almost mandatory that we do that, because it's hard to really expect good if you're not being good. And I would transpose the words good with love. It's hard to expect love from people if you're not being a loving person. It's hard to feel love if you've never loved something or someone. And, you know, as I'm talking, thinking about, you know, God rest DMX, but I'm thinking about him and his love for Boomer. That was his dog, quite literally. But that was, you know, one of the sources of love that he had in his life. I mean, he loved his grandmother too. She was a big influence on him as well. And those little bits of what kind of helped carry him through. So even the hardest of hard rocks, like a DMX, still needed to be a loving person, because the alternative is just not good.
Okay, appreciate that, Terrence. Okay, so I guess I'll jump in at the end. So let's talk about I would say the elephant in the room, in the fact that, well, I won't say the fact, but the normal thought process that as a man, in order to be a strong man, in order to be a successful man, that you really should cut that love out of you. Like, love is the enemy. Like, we're normally taught to work, to produce, to be accomplished, but not necessarily to care, right? To not necessarily get your, and I'm hesitant to lose the word feelings involved, because I feel like love is more than just feelings. Okay. Well, first of all, let me define love as I see it, and if y'all have other ideas, y'all can jump on it. Like, I feel like love is more of a commitment than a feeling. Love to me is a decision, right? When I think of be loving, I think of be decisive, right? That, for instance, these are my boys that I'm talking to right now. I love these guys individually and as a group. Because I love them doesn't mean that I will like them every day. Doesn't mean that I have warm and fuzzy feelings about them when, you know, they come around. But it is because I have decided to be an ally to them. I have decided to be a friend to them. I have decided to be like family to them. And whether I feel like it, you see what I'm saying? Like, whether I feel like it or not doesn't really come into play.
Okay.
My emotions, like, I'm not going to say that it's emotionless, but my emotions don't really come into play with that. It's because I have created, or I won't say I have created, but there's a decision that's been made to rock with you through thick and thin, good or bad, blah, 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 blah. That being said, I also feel that the emotional part of being loving is important too, because if you have a family, right? If you have kids, if you have a wife, if you have people that depend on you, that is the ultimate motivator. Like, producing for your child will motivate you so much more than producing for yourself. Like, if you're just trying to stack stacks for you, you ain't seeing nothing until you have a smaller version of yourself that you want to impress. I think it's important to be loving, especially as a man, so that we can teach other men to be loving, because it's rare right now. It's like a desert, right? It's like water in the desert. It's extremely rare right now because it's really looked to not be manly.
I both agree with that and disagree with that.
Go for it.
In that I think there's a lot of men out there that do love, but we show our love in a different fashion. I mean, obviously, it's already been said, men are from Mars and women are from Venus. No, we're all from Earth. We just think differently. We approach things differently. We come from different sides of the spectrum, and together we complete the spectrum. But just judging from my own relationships, and I'm not just talking about girlfriends. I'm talking about my friends, my comrades, my brothers in arms, my family. I think men love, but we love pretty hard. People just can't perceive our love because they don't understand it. Like the woman that cries that her husband isn't at home enough for her. Why you're never here. But his love is saying, I got to keep a roof over your head. I got to get you these things that you want. And I love you so much, I'll work my fingers to the bone to get it. You know? And so it's not perceived correctly. And Hollywood has done a good job of obscuring that and not really hitting on the reality of what it is. It's not hatred so a man doesn't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about my day. He doesn't want to share with you his pain because he don't want you to feel that pain that he's feeling. Yeah, he's not gonna tell you about how people on the job upsetting. No, I'm not gonna tell you that because I don't want you to worry about that. I don't want you to think that anything is wrong. I want you to know that everything is fine and daddy got it under control. And I apologize. I'm trying not to use daddy so much because I've been told that it points to something sexual. But the point is, a man just loves differently. He loves hard, and I don't understand how people can't see that. I really don't. You know, for someone who considers himself a writer, I'm having a lack of words right now. But I've always viewed love, and I've had the greatest difficulty explaining this to my current lady friend. It's not that I don't love you. I love you, but saying it is one thing. I'm the kind of person that would rather show you that I love you. But if you're ignoring my love that I'm showing you, oh, clearly this dude loves me, then you know you're not seeing it, you're not getting it. And then you need to be cued in to what the ingredients are that make up my love so that you can recognize it when you see it. But to get back, I'm kind of getting off course, but to get back to what I was saying, the reason why I disagree with that is because I believe men do love, but our love isn't perceived or understood, but it's definitely love.
I get that point. Completely understand that. To quote you, agree and disagree with what you said.
Okay.
Oh, I agree that men aren't always perceived as being loving people, and that our form of love is hard. I agree with those things. The disagreement comes with the perception of how our love is received. This is something that has taken me up until I was this old today to kind of get that concept down of love languages. And I didn't just hear about it today, but it is definitely something that has been brought to my attention over the span of 16 years, at least. And everybody has their different love languages. You know, like for instance, you mentioned not wanting to share what happened in your work day because you didn't want to make your partner worry. Cool. That's your love language. But to your partner, that could definitely feel as if you're holding something back and keeping them from, or not sharing everything, right? And if your partner's love language is something comfort related, if they feel like their way of expressing love to you is by being your peace, your comfort, and your place of refuge, you're not affording them that opportunity by not sharing. So love languages is a very complex subject that we could talk about probably for hours on a whole nother episode. So I'm gonna try and kind of bottle this up and say the concept of being loving as a man is important because, we do have to share love for one another, especially as Black men, because we don't get enough of that. We live in a world where there are too many things going on around us to have us on edge, to have us wound up and uptight as it is. So when we see each other, we all do it. We'll see another dude on the street, the most you might do is a head nod. And universally amongst us, because we're dudes, we generally accept that. But every once in a while, it might not be a bad thing to be like, what's going on, brother, man? And like legitimately dap each other up. That's a start. That could be a kind of a way to bridge the gap some and just kind of let people see that we can see each other, we can acknowledge each other, and not have to be like over the top, like doing this full-on kid and play in the middle of your handshake. But at the same time, it's more than just a head nod, because for me, part of what love is a bit appreciation. And sometimes being acknowledged is appreciated. So
this is true. I like it. Let's face it. I'm gonna jump in and I'm gonna say, so we started off, we were saying, every man should be loving, and we put it in real simple terms, and then, as you can see, we get into the podcast, we can take it. You can always take it. It's both simple and it's complicated. You know what I mean? You can get into muddy waters. We can start mixing commitment with, with whether we really should, show it and stuff like that, or you get worried about the complications of things. You start overthinking stuff. You worry about it. Okay, what am I saying? What am I do here? And whether I should really have put this forward that way. But yeah, I like all you guys' points, and that's what I was saying about brotherhood and unity and stuff like that. I go out of my way sometimes to try to not just do the head nod. Sometimes, what's up, man? We doing? You know what I mean? I'm definitely a chatty guy. My wife always tells me I can meet somebody somewhere and just start talking to them. We'll figure out something somewhere in between. We'll start talking about something from that standpoint. But I wanted to end on this note to say to my young man, that just because it may show a hint of vulnerability doesn't mean, you know, you don't want to be loving, you want to block yourself off. And just because you may even open yourself up to hurt, you know, from that standpoint, somebody you love or whatever the case may be, doesn't mean you don't want to show it. You know what I mean? It's like everybody's always been saying for years and years, there's something to all this stuff that people say for years and years, you know, and years, the concept of being loving has always been a solid concept, and it's always been a yes to war, right? So that's my last 2 cents, I think, on that part.
Okay. I doubt it, but okay.
You said that was my last 2 cents.
No, you.
Okay, so
Your other 2 cents.
sorry, where you going?
Your other 2 cents just have to be triggered. Because I'm sitting here thinking about love, and I've thought about situations where someone have gone to jail because they didn't want to rat their friend out.
Well,
and
yeah.
I'm not doing that. I don't love any of you guys that much. Yep, he did it, Your Honor. I'm just because I don't think it's fair that, oh, you love me, but you're willing to let me go to prison for something you did.
You love me enough to be honest with me to tell me you ain't gonna take the fall from me. So I'm cool with that. I'll take that. You know what I'm saying? At least you honest and you let me know, hey, I love you enough to be honest with you, bro. I'm not here for you on this level. Right? You can't come and hide in my garage, dog. If they come looking for you, I'm gonna tell them you in the garage. Depending.
But you know what? Because I love you, I wouldn't impose on you like that. I know you got a wife and kids. All of you do. I wouldn't impose on you like that. My love would cause me to go another direction. Well, first of all, not commit any crimes.
And the funny thing is, I think all of us would say, families or not, because we have love for you. Come on, dog. We got you.
I probably would. I'm not gonna tell you that I would tell you get out my garage. Yeah, I probably
come on, dog. We got you.
Seen who? Where at? Last time I seen him has been a minute ago, dog. I don't know what you're talking about. Nah, you can't come in and search. You got a warrant. I'll see you when you get a warrant. And my boy will be gone by then.
And I
back in my head.
I get that, but my mindset is, look, I did it. All right. I committed this horrendous crime of I don't know, Grand Theft Auto, and they're looking for me. I wouldn't impose on you guys like that. I would not do that. I would rather just go and turn myself and I did it. I stole every single one of those Buicks out there. And if y'all let me go today, I'm gonna steal 10,000 and more. You know. But if I'm innocent, obviously, then no, please don't tell them I'm here. I'm not here.
Go ahead, Tom. Tom's trying to say something. You still muted though. You got it?
Yeah, I was just waiting to jump in.
Go ahead.
I was like the little girl, you know, playing double dutch.
I seen you double dutching.
A little girl was getting. I was just rocking. But anyway, I wanted to wrangle the conversation back and kind of get back to the topic, but ask the second question. So we start off with being loving. Why is it important to be loving? But now, how does a man show love?
You putting it out?
That's the question. How does a man?
Going out, I didn't know whether he was putting it out for anybody.
I'm sorry. How does a man show love?
Yeah, well, Rhino touched on it. Rhino touched on it some way, some things. Sometimes ours isn't shown in these romantic Harlequin novels that, you know, women are used to reading when they're in school and things of that nature. Watching, you know, 30 Days and 30 Nights on TV and stuff like that. We don't show it like that all the time. I know for me, and I agree with what Rhino said when he said that, you know, I'm a solver, I'm a doer. I want to show you. You know what I mean? I want to build you to that point, you know, and show, especially my significant other, you know, I'm trying to show my love for you by deeds and actions. I'm out there. That's what I'm doing. When I do this, because I wouldn't do all this for the average. I kind of think that when, like Tom, when you said this, you felt like it was a decision that you made. I think I equate that more with commitment than love, as far as making the decision that I'm going to, you know, it's going to be you, that this right here. But the love part is a feeling. That is something that I'm going to wind up feeling beyond myself. Like, I'm out here scraping, trying to get, this lady I love, or this daughter of mine is trying to look for my son or whatever, wants the specific game. And I'm out here trying to find 6 GameStop so I can find this game. Normally, my anxiety or whatever I got within me, I'd be like, I don't care about this, but I love my son, I love my daughter, I'm trying to get this for them, so I'm doing these deeds. I want to keep, if they want a specific house, I want to be in the neighborhood, or my daughter wants to stay just past, what happened with me, she wanted to stay in a particular school district. We're writing applications and stuff like that so we can get into a choice program, or also put her in a magnet program so she can stay at that particular school. We got approved for them both. That was cool. And that's by God's grace, trust me. But we were struggling trying to get this because we love her. You know what I mean? So these thoughts, actions, not always the textbook romance things and things of that nature. And it's not to say that it shouldn't be, but I do think that, especially as we can get away from that. Now, that's not to say that it shouldn't be, because I will say, and I don't mean to take it from anybody else. Now, I'll close with this to say, that's not to mean that we shouldn't show our love in those traditional ways as well, so that it is, out, clear, evident. Do it in the cliche way. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't mean that we shouldn't do it that way. Everybody's individual, so it's going to be up to the individual to kind of show it the way he do. I'll close out with that.
Okay. So for me, as I listen to Sean talk, I've settled on 2 words as to how men show love. For me, those 2 words are becoming paying attention. Paying attention, again, going back to this love language thing, paying attention to the other person enough to know what their language is, so that I can at least try to speak it. I'm not going to get it right all the time. I mean, I'm me. I'm not perfect by any means. But by paying attention, I can at least say, okay, so you really get off on words of affirmation. So I got to try and make it a point to give you more atta-girls or atta-boys and more pats on the back. You're a person who actually genuinely likes gifts. So, okay, that means I got to go find this new PS5 game. You need Madden 2K? All right, let's go ahead and make this happen. You're a person who needs to be hugged or to be embraced, okay? I got to make sure every once in a while I give you some physical contact, pat on the back, a hug, a good head rub, or whatever, and just kind of making sure that I'm aware of what it is that other person is, because again, in order to get it, you got to give it. So if I'm giving people what they're needing or giving them their language, hopefully the intent should be for people to reciprocate that.
Okay, so let me jump in as well. How do men love, or how do they show love? I'll try not to just talk about me, but I'll try to talk about men. What I've noticed. Okay, so if a man loves someone, and I'll say like romantically, like if he loves someone, he spends money on them. Real talk.
Real talk. All the way.
I'm not advocating that money equals love, but a man puts his money where his heart is. He puts his time where his heart is. He puts protection where his heart is. He guards it. He guards it. He provides for it. He makes sure that it's not in need, not in lack. shoot, I'm almost about to put a bow on that and let that ride.
That's it. That'll work, man. You can tie that up.
But he does tend to protect, and he also respects and listens. Like if you are important to a man, he loves you. You know, this is romantic or otherwise. If something is important to you, that is now important to him as well. Like, he will accept what's important to you, even if he doesn't understand it, even if he won't ever understand it. The simple fact that it is a high priority for you has elevated it on his list. And I'll just leave it at that.
I honestly don't know what more can be added to that, because
I think I like it. I like it.
So, well, let me ask you. Well, I won't ask anything else because I think we've talked about this topic pretty well. Anybody else want to add anything on, or anyone feel like they haven't said something that they really want to say?
I got a question for the group.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
We talked about how do men love. You know, we sharing stuff up here confidently.
Mm-hmm.
How do you love individually? I know you said you weren't going to do it, but just throw it out there.
Okay. All right, since you want to challenge somebody, say it with my chest this time. But honestly, a lot of those are me. I put my ear where I love. If I love you, I listen to you. If I love you, I try to predict your needs. If I love you, I try to protect you from not just real threats, perceived threats,
Yeah.
Both foreign and domestic, but
Internal,
also
external.
potential threats. Like, you don't just get the military, you get the Secret Service too. You get the intelligence. Like, you get the intelligence agencies out there looking for stuff and snuffing stuff out before it even gets to you. Like,
Right.
the SEAL team handled something in 2018 that you didn't even know about.
Right.
I get that. I remember this time somebody said something of a friend of mine, and as soon as I heard it, I was like, nope, that's not true. That's not true. And I'm willing to go to blows with you because I know that's not true. Why are you out here spreading untruths? That's happened at least twice. Not about one of you guys, but other friends I've had. And I'm like, no, that's not true, because I know him. He wouldn't do that. What are you talking about? Where are you coming from? And why did you choose me? You chose the wrong person. All right.
Chose somebody else. I'm gonna mess around and go tell him we gonna be back at your house.
Right.
What's going on?
How you gonna go to Charlie Murphy and talk trash about Eddie Murphy? You about to get your jaw rocked. That's what's about to happen.
But protection, listening, provision, investment. I will invest in somebody I care about. Like, I won't just feed them to stay well. I will try to fertilize them. I want to see you bigger and better tomorrow than you are today. And I'll leave it at that, because that's very important. That is something that's very important to me, to pour into somebody, to feed into them, to make them better. That's what I try to do, y'all.
you do a good job, man.
I try.
You do a good job. It's rubbing off. You good.
I need a lot of work. So the fact that you were even willing to take on that task, appreciate it, homie.
Man, who doesn't need work?
The biggest room in anybody's life is the room for improvement.
But here's the thing. That is why this is important. That is why being loving is important. That's why us loving each other is important. That's why us feeding into each other is important, because that is how, not man, that is how men get better. Men get better by other men feeding into them, by exchanging ideas, by exchanging, stories, by being each other's hiding place. I mean, that's how we get better. Because the world ain't gonna protect you, so you better have your boys to protect you.
Right.
This is true.
Yeah. You gotta have somebody you can call on.
You need
Because Ghostbusters ain't coming.
Right.
But anyway, unless anyone has anything else they want to add,
I have one thing I would like to have.
Go
I'd
for
like
it.
to add. Happy belated birthday, Tony.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, he wanted to let the world know. Look at it. Thank you very much.
My man, he's the youngest man in the group. He's stepping up there in age, but he's still the youngest man in the group.
Still the youngest one.
Still doing it. Still giving it as well as he's taking it.
One more win over Father Time. One more.
right.
one more.
Right.
I'm
He
45
successfully
and 0.
evaded dying for 45 years. My
Yeah,
man,
45 and 0.
genius.
But hey, Father Time only need one win. He only need one.
That's right.
Well, it ain't gonna be today.
Not
So,
today. How about that?
Well, anyway, I appreciate that. And on that positive note, we're going to wrap up this session and be prepared for number 9 in a week. So just be on the lookout. We will, and we're not going to tell you what it is. You're going to have to tune in for that.
no spoilers. No spoilers at all.
Other than whatever fell over it.
That wasn't a spoiler.
No, that's true.
That
too.
was just,
Stuff happens.
something not wanting to stay on the wall, but we'll take care of that later. Anyway. I guess on that note, that's absolutely my cue.
Okay.
As always, thank y'all for listening. Like, share, subscribe. God bless you. Good night.
Peace out.
Peace and
Bye.
hair grease.
Deuces.